Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to those of you who are thinking about giving your very first wood turning demonstrations. Maybe the club has asked you to demonstrate because they've seen some of the things you brought into show and tell, or maybe it's simply at the point where you'd like to share your own skills with a group at large. But the thought of standing up there and demonstrating, actually making it in front of a group of people, makes you nervous. Well, I got news for you. It doesn't have to make you nervous. It doesn't have to intimidate you. There's some tips and techniques which I'm going to share with you in this short video, which allow you to have that demonstration to turn out well, and you might actually find that you really enjoy demonstrating to others and sharing what you've learned with other folks, with other fellow turners. The first strategy is you don't have to turn on the lathe. Make your project at home. And each step in the sequence, take some pictures, take lots of pictures, and then sit down and work through the pictures and kind of make notes to yourself of what you should say to describe what the picture is showing at that particular stage of the sequence of making your project. Then on the day of the meeting, you come in with all those images, you project those up there on the screen, and you simply sit there and go through each image describing to the audience at large exactly what you're doing at that stage. Now, what this does, it removes the whole problem of trying to talk and also think about turning. It removes the whole risk of a nasty catch. So it really works, and it can be very enjoyable. So that's your first potential strategy. Another fantastic strategy is to team up with a more experienced turner and have him join you on the stage. And in effect, you kind of do a tag team. You talk about what you're going to make. You start the project, and as you get to those points where you get a little bit harder, a little bit more dangerous, where you're more likely to have a catch, basically you let the master turner come in, finish that part of the project, turn it back to you. You do the next stage. He comes in, and it goes back to you, and you create a tag team between the two of you. But what that does, it takes the pressure off of you as the demonstrator. While he's working on something, you get a period of time there where you can allow yourself to calm back down. And what the audience sees is kind of an increased dynamic, an increased motion. I mean, it's a lot of good things. So consider partnering up with some other turner as you give your demonstration. Practice does make perfect. Before you actually give your demonstration in front of an audience, do it at home and record it. Now, you've got a cell phone that has a quite good video camera on it, or a USB camera, or a laptop that has a camera. It doesn't have to be a good video, but what you want to do is record yourself as you go through and do a practice demonstration. When you get done, sit down, review it, make notes, things you did well, things you need to improve. Oh, I forgot to do that. It always happens, all right? And then incorporate those into the actual demonstration. This process of recording your practice demonstration and then reviewing them will dramatically improve your confidence and delivery and what is presented to your audience. So practice does help, but you got to use today's technology to help you get there. Next tip is start small. Don't jump straight into a demonstration before the full club. Some clubs have setups where it's pretty intimidating. I mean, where it's a big amphitheater and the seats are up high and they're all looking down at you. Don't start that way. Invite a couple of your fellow turners over to your own shop and give it a practice run. Ask them to give you honest feedback about what you did well, could be improved. The smaller, friendlier setting really helps you work out any kinks before before the main event. This next one I really like. Disarm your audience. It's a powerful psychological trick. Be upfront and be honest about it being your first demonstration. Tell your audience right at the start and ask them to give you feedback of what you did well, what you messed up on after the demonstration, after the meeting. And you tell them you would really like to have some feedback because you'd really like to get better. Now, when you ask people for help, funny things happen. They actually do become your friend, become supportive of you. all right? And you're just being honest with them. But the other thing that you've done is you've taken their expectations and you've lowered them. So it's kind of easy to give a first demonstration that exceeds their expectations because you already lowered the bar. Not bad. Good little thing to do. Changes the dynamic in your favor tremendously. Plan for Murphy. You know Murphy? The guy that always shows up? You know, anything that could go wrong always goes wrong? That's Murphy. He's always going to be in the room. You know, nothing you can do about it. He's going to be there. But what you can do to disarm Murphy is to plan for it. You know, common issues include your piece comes out of the chuck and goes flying across the room. Hopefully it doesn't hit anybody. The lathe blows the fuse and the room goes dark. That's a good one. Your tools don't behave as expected. You got a dull one when you didn't think you would have, or you forgot it. Something always happens. Well, there is a solution to minimize Murphy's impact on you and your demonstration. Have backup pieces for each stage ready to go. As you work through your script, figure out the danger spots. And in those danger spots, be prepared with a backup piece so that you can get through those dangerous spots without it ruining your entire demonstration. And quite frankly, there's a second little secret weapon you can use with Murphy, and that's a little humor to go along with your planning. And, you know, if you do it right, if your humor is good, you can actually turn Murphy's experience, Murphy's reaching his fingers out and messing you up, into the most memorable parts of the demonstration. So plan for Murphy and get him defeated for me, will you? Next thought is about your nerves. Let's talk about it. Quite frankly, they're normal. Everyone is nervous when they get up in front of a group of people to start. And I don't care how much that you've talked to people over your career, a first wood turning demonstration is different than things that you have done before, and it's highly likely you're going to be nervous. So I'll give you two thoughts about how to manage those nerves. The first thing is to realize it's going to happen. And the second thing that what I like to do is I like to get in the room early before anybody shows up, and I just sit there in the back. You know, I look at the chairs, I look at the room, I look at the stage setup, and I find as I do that, my mind just kind of it gets to the point where it just kind of accepts my surroundings. So I don't feel like I'm walking into a strange place. And as I do that, my nerves come down and down and down. Okay, a second strategy is don't fight your nerves, rechannel them. Take that nervous energy, put it into your demonstration, wave your hands, be more dynamic. And it's amazing what happens to nervousness. If you're doing like this, guess what happens? You settle down and you give a really good demonstration. Don't be afraid to be dynamic, because that helps your confidence. And it actually makes the demonstration better. I think also it's very important that we remember that your audience is friendly. You know, they really do want you to succeed. They love wood turning. You will love wood turning. They want to watch the magic of a hunk of wood becoming something overnight. Over an hour period of time, it goes from nothing to something that's marvelous and they can take home and show to their loved ones, all right? They're on your side from the moment you start. Remember that. It's important. And the last point I'd make about your first demonstration is it's really kind of magical what happens over time, is that as you become more experienced, you discover that actually teaching others and sharing your enthusiasm about wood turning becomes just as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than creating a masterful piece. So don't hold back from your first demonstration. Use these strategies. Be prepared. And remember, everyone that you've seen demonstrated had a first demonstration just like you. You're going to be great. Now, if this video has helped you feel more confident and comfortable in giving a demonstration, please do give me a thumbs up down below and join my channel. There will be other segments coming out over the next several months. Thank you very much. And keep that wood curls flying.